Well, it's been a busy day for Martin Brunnschweiler, who's joining us on the circuits now from Gibraltar. He's off island. When it all happens, Martin, you know, this whole business about what you can do with the TT logo, what you can't. You must have been surprised, though. Let's go back to 22nd December. I think that's when the letter was dated, when that landed on your doorstep. Were you surprised at the tone and what you were being asked to do to stop any reference to the TT?
Yes, it wasn't. I mean, the timing wasn't great. It caused us a bit of concern just before Christmas, but yes, the tone. It was fairly businesslike. We weren't 100% sure that all these, and we still aren't 100% sure that all of these facts are right. So we had to do some running around in the time between Christmas and New Year, just to try and sort of get things organised. But no, I feel sorry for my brewer Curly, who it sounds like his phone has been red hot today on the Isle of Man, and I hope he doesn't feel that I've left him with a hot potato.
I mean, how do you view this thing? I mean, you've used TT for many years. You've trademarked part of that TT in your own thing. So you're aware of trademarks yourself. I mean,
yes,
it's
we're
important.
aware of trademarks, but
yeah.
I think, and as you say, we used TT for many years, and my thought was that I felt we were being really restricted in what we could do when the government stepped in and trademarked those two letters and the official TT logo. And we have a couple of times over the years seen if we could have done something to participate as a partner. And we'd basically been told, no, we can't, because there are already partners in place who would prohibit that from happening. So I suppose when I was hearing these things, I got a bit fed up and decided I'd go out and create our own trademark, which, yes, it's close to the government's trademark, but in my opinion, Bushy's TT doesn't in any way infringe the two letters TT. It's Bushy's TT, and certainly image-wise, our logos don't look anything like the official thing. So I'd like to think we're not actually infringing anybody else's copyright.
But as a businessman, you can understand, somebody else is trying to protect their intellectual property rights on this. I mean,
yes.
Your view, but I mean, do you think they were too heavy-handed? I mean, could this have been sorted out quietly, do you think?
Well, you just never know how things work out. Yes, I'd like to think it could have been done in a friendly way, possibly. But by the same token, I think we need to stick by our guns. I think we're fairly satisfied that we're not infringing the official logos, and I fully understand that those that official TT with the three legs and the swoosh brings in a lot of money to the island. I wouldn't want in any way to weaken that or to have any effect that would lower what the island or what the event gets via that logo. But I honestly don't feel that ours does that. And if somebody comes to the Isle of Man during the 2 weeks of May and June, they could buy an official TT T-shirt, or they can buy a Bushy's T-shirt. And I can't see how we're affecting that in any way.
It sounds to me that maybe some lawyers will be involved then. Will you argue your case?
Quite possibly. I mean, as you know, I'm away at the moment in Gibraltar, so I'm unable to attend these meetings. Our legal people are meeting with DED to see, how things stand. We're fairly confident that we do have a strong case here, but as I said, we're in no way wanting to weaken the trademark that the government and the tourism department has. But by the same token, we feel we have to just sort of spell out what we feel our case is. And I'd like to think I have heard have heard Rob Callister's interview, and yes, I think he's made some good points. He's hopeful that we're going to be able to find a remedy, as so am I. And I'd like to think between the two trademarks we can find common ground, and we can do and we can come up with a sensible solution that means nobody has to resort to legal action.
I mean, would you pay for one of these licenses if you could get one, or is it just beyond you to want to give money for something that you've already done for so many years?
Good question. I suppose it would be nice to be asked. We've never been asked since we used to be involved with official sponsorship packages before the centenary in 2007. We've never been asked since then. I have made a couple of inquiries. I've noticed for the last few years that the mile markers around the course have been blank. I did make a tentative inquiry as to whether we could have done anything, and we were told, no, sorry, we already have a brewing partner, and you wouldn't be able to do anything with us. I find that a very frustrating situation to be in. That I would have thought that we could have had or that there could have been possibly a two-tier sponsorship arrangement whereby, yes, you can have the big multinationals who can come in from the UK or wherever worldwide, but I would have thought there should be a means for a small local company to be accommodated, and I do find that frustrating.
Where do you take it next then? Are you waiting to come back to have meetings, or the lawyers have started their letter writing already, or what?
There is a meeting tomorrow morning between our legal representatives and DED. As I said, I'm very hopeful that they're going to be able to come up with a sensible solution. If that isn't the case, then obviously we're going to have to think again. But
I'm guessing you didn't take the decision to go public lightly, because I know other people, like websites particularly, that people who've just run them as their fansy sort of websites over the years have had the DED pushed upon them to say you need to take that down because you're infringing rights, and people won't go on the record because they're terrified of upsetting or getting involved with the government and losing any sort of credibility they may have or future work. I mean, how do you feel about going public on this?
I have to say, it wasn't really anything that I wanted to do, but I was persuaded by a couple of people that we really had nothing to lose by going public, because the letter had already been sent, the legal threats had been made. So I suppose we felt that to go public was a way of gauging how the mood, if you like. But yes, I mean, I'd like to think that there is a way or a means to have a way of accommodating smaller. I mean, we've already heard that yes, church halls and
tea rooms will be all right.
Yes, yes, so they can be accommodated. So it sounds as if there are ways of having lesser schemes. I'm not suggesting that we have to be quite treated like a tea room in a church hall, but I'd like to think we also do contribute an awful lot, whether it's financially directly into the TT pot or in an indirect way through all the VAT, national insurance, all the other means, and never mind all the sort of all the money that we've helped raise. I mean, I think you did an interview last year whereby Manx Charity Aid over the last 10 years has raised nearly £100,000 for local charities. So I'd like to think all of these things contribute to the to the event, and yes, it might not be a financial input directly into a TT pot, but it's certainly indirectly making an important contribution.
And back to that letter, I mean, we were having a bit of a debate here, me and Mr. Callister, about the tone of it and its reluctancy. That last paragraph, which sort of was the wham bam one, wasn't it, with the legal action? Did you take that as being a threatening letter?
It was businesslike, and yes, I suppose it ended with a fairly serious note. So I think we did have to take it seriously, and that's why we have taken legal advice. And I have to say, we're being told we do have a strong case, but look, nobody's looking for a fight here. We're just defending what we, that we're defending an approach that we've had from a government department. And as I said, we're really hopeful that we're going to be able to meet them in the middle, and we'll be able to do a sensible deal.